While still relaxed at home or anywhere, we all get stranded on what to eat and time is probably running out. On to our first guest tonight who are specialized in making sure that a meal is delivered to you at the right time. This is The Entrepreneur. My name is Paul K. Mwaura. Welcome to the show.
It's good to have you on the show tonight.
Thank you, Paul.
You can start by introducing yourself to us and let us know who you are and what you do.
My name is Naisiadet Mason, and I am a business entrepreneur right now. I started a company called Mama Meals on Wheels. It's a delivery company. We deliver groceries and we deliver orders from restaurants to people's homes or offices. And we also deliver food from caterers to offices or homes.
Maybe you can take us back to what you're doing before you got into business.
I was employed. I used to work with the United Nations, UNFPA. I was based out of South Africa, Johannesburg, and I was regional advisor on HIV/AIDS reproductive health. When I say region, I mean for the whole of Africa. So that's the work that I used to do before I decided to hang my boots and come and try my hand at business.
Hanging your boots, from a high-profile job like that and getting into business, what gave you that motivation?
The opportunity to be able to do something and watch it grow. But I want to take a step back and really say I didn't necessarily want to jump into business. What happened is when I was a little tired of working with the UN, working for somebody else, because after a certain period you feel like you're just doing the same repetitive thing. So I wanted to try my hand at consulting, which I came here and I did from South Africa. But while doing that, I'm the kind of person who loves food and I'd like to get good food in my house. I used to check out the traffic and man, it's just impossible to navigate the traffic in the city. So I thought, a food delivery company might not be such a bad thing. So it started more out of a need. I wanted good food. And then the need became, it was sort of like a whim as well. In other words, hey, what is it gonna take to start such a venture?
And getting to start this business, maybe you can tell us the kind of capital you injected in and where was this from your savings or from where?
I didn't use very much money. That's what was very good about this project. That's why it started the way it did, because I'm sure if it was a business I was starting and I was going to sit there and depend on it, that was going to be difficult. So I remember the idea was hatched actually one day at Java, and went there with a friend. We started typing, what's our mission, what's our vision, what's our goal, those kinds of things. Came up with something. And then I had about 150,000. Bikes were going for 60,000 a piece. We have these thermal bags that we brought in from the States and our 2 riders, and that was it. So 150,000 is pretty much what I used to start the company with.
Working for the United Nations, quite prestigious and high-profile job. How was that transition of you coming from that employment into business? Give us, maybe you can take us back to that.
I think by the time I'd made a decision to leave the UN and come and try my hand at consulting, because one day I just picked up my bags and just landed here and said, okay, I'm here, what am I going to do? I didn't really have a plan. So I started with a consulting, which was still in the same line of work. And then Mama Meals was going on the side. Obviously, I spent a lot of time with Mama Meals. And my consulting work, I tried to limit it so that I could give myself ample time to work on Mama Meals. Because it's a growing business, you really need to ingest a lot of time.
Maybe you can detail to us the kind of services that you offer here at Mama Meals.
Mama Meals on Wheels, as I mentioned earlier, we're a food delivery company. I'd like you to think of us as a DHL for food. Why do I say DHL? Because we don't cook. All we do is we pick food from any restaurant that you prefer or of your choice, and we will bring the food to your office, to your home, to the national park, whatever you want the food delivered to. We can pick the foods from, as I mentioned earlier, caterer as well, or even, because we have a lot of this happening in the Asian community, I think it's part of their culture. Wives make food for their husbands at home and they deliver that to work. So we've done that. They use these tiffins. So in the Asian community, that's very common. Yes, if you are, for example, watching football at home, maybe the Premier League or the Olympics or whatever, you have friends over. You don't have drinks. You don't have food. Maybe you want pizzas. Maybe you want nyama choma. give us a call and right at your doorstep. We deliver within 45 minutes of pickup. Our thermal bags are such that they lose only 1 degree an hour. We're the only ones with those bags here because we don't get them here. And we're pretty proud of them.
Mama Meals on Wheels. Quite a name. How did you come up with that?
So we thought about food, and we all know universally, who gives you food at home? Your mother, right? So mama, we're talking about a meal, and then we're talking about this meal being driven to whatever. So it's Mama Meals, she's on wheels, and she's bringing, if you look at our logo, it's a little woman on a scooter with a little sort of box on the back, and there's steam, from her box, indicating that the food is coming to you hot.
In doing this, what kind of challenges have you gotten to face?
Challenges are numerous, I have to admit, but I would imagine it's like that with any business. But the first key challenge I would like to just throw out there is getting good staffing, good drivers and good staff. When I say good, I mean quality. Those people who know, they come, they interview for a job, and they know what they came to do. Not come, interview, and then you slack, and then you interviewed very well, like many of our young people do. When it comes to doing the job, they can't do it. And getting good drivers who are honest, who are people of integrity, it's quite a feat. Because you're handling money, you're handling customers, and sometimes we can't necessarily keep track of the whole cycle from when you went to see the customer, what did you charge the customer, did you give the customer a receipt. So sometimes it can be challenging like that. The other challenge I would say is out there is if you are looking for loans to fund your business, to grow your business, very hard. The interest rates are high, and when you're starting small, my advice is first to grow organically. And many banks are not really friendly to SMEs. I mean, their interest rates are just very, very high.
This is quite a unique business that you're doing. Who do you get to target, to deliver the meals to them?
We target those people who have the expendable income, okay? So it's not really relegated to a particular area of Nairobi because, if you have expendable income and you're in Mathare, hey, and you want food, we'll deliver. So we're not really choosy on who can and who can't order. Anybody can order as long as you can pay for the delivery charge. Our minimum delivery charge, which is around here in Westlands, is around 400 shillings.
In letting people know what you do, how do you get to market yourself?
Initially when we started, because delivery was not so well known, people are not aware about delivery. What we did is that we went to the various restaurants like Mediterraneo and just sort of the various places. And we left our business cards, the ones that I gave you. And then after that, we went back to the office, or my home at the time, and we called. We wanted to have a pizza delivered to us. And they said, we don't have delivery. And we said, we thought Mama Meals delivers. They said, oh yeah. Hang on a minute. And we were able to get a delivery that way. Now what we do is we find out which are the restaurants which have come up, and we know that they're going to need delivery. You have seen our business cards, which are the tools that we use. They're fridge magnets. We want you, oftentimes if you get a business card from someone, you write the number on your phone, you toss it out. This one you're going to put on your fridge, it's going to be there forever. You go to your fridge, is your fridge empty? You have the number right there. So we do sort of little things like that. We have quality seals that when we receive the foods from the restaurant, we put the quality seal so that if it is broken, then the food has been interfered with before it reaches a customer. But if it's not broken, the food has arrived there as it was given to the driver from the restaurants.
Somebody sitting back at home or in an office, they have choices to make on who to call to deliver food or drinks to them. How do you get to cope with such competition?
Well, what we do is, obviously you need to know your competitor to gauge your comparative advantage. A few years ago, 2 years ago, we were the only ones around, so we didn't need to worry about that. But with the changing environment in food delivery, we've had to re-examine what we're doing and whether we're still relevant, because you could be declared irrelevant if you are not keeping up with what people need or with the technology today. So we learn what it is that they have, and then we look at how our model of delivery versus their model, and where we see we have an advantage, we strengthen that niche and we really emphasize.
At first, you mentioned that you started with 2 bikes. So how many do you have so far, and how have you grown, with time?
We are at 10 right now. It has grown slowly. I mean, we moved from 2 to 4 to 6 to 8 to 10, like that. And we increase according to the business.
And what are your future plans?
We are planning to expand. When I say expand, I mean within the country. We've had calls from Mombasa, from Kisumu, from Nakuru, from Kampala, actually even from Nigeria, Lagos, wanting to start a similar type of a thing, and they're asking us, can you come here? So those are plans that we have in mind. Again, financing, where's that going to come from? But we're hopeful that we'll be able to do this perhaps by the end of the year.
Giving advice to somebody watching you, and they're probably in employment and they are tired of that routine work that they're doing, and they want to get into entrepreneurship, what would you tell them to have in place, maybe even before they get into it?
For you young people out there, be adventurous, be ready to take that risk, especially since many of you probably don't have children or other responsibility. Jump in now, it's a time. Don't get stuck in the rat cycle of being employed, because at the end of the day, you don't get very far.
Well, as you can see, Mama Meal delivered her hot meal and we've been enjoying it here with Jamal. Ama vipi? Enjoy, yeah? Good. We're taking a short commercial break, but when we return, we have another guest for you, so please don't go away. In the meantime, maybe you can excuse us to just dig in a bit.